The spike in hate crimes against the Asian community has been extremely personal for some of us. While we know many of you don't know who we are, we wanted to take a few minutes to talk about how this has affected us as an Intel gaming team and what we're doing to help in any way we can. We've collaborated with a few local Asian artists to create charity merchandise to help raise money for select nonprofit organizations that are working to stop AAPI hate. Each artist created something meaningful to them and their culture as a way to express themselves. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to the nonprofits Stop AAPI Hate and Asian Americans Advancing Justice. We're excited about this opportunity to help these organizations. It's incredibly important to our team as we introduce ourselves throughout this video, and we hope you understand why it's so important to us. I'm Jihye Susan. I am Korean American, and I am a creative experience manager at Intel.
My name is George. I'm American-born Chinese. I'm the esports marketing manager here at Intel.
My name is Eric Galaviz. I'm the global social strategist for Intel Gaming.
Hi, my name is Mila. I am a Serbian American, currently working at Intel in the sales and marketing rotational program.
Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten. I'm a marketing manager here at Intel Gaming.
Hey everyone, my name is Peter Sirvong. By day, I am a social media manager. By night, I still dabble in a little bit of arts, but also into photography and videography.
Hi, my name is Ansley Dunn. I'm the creative experience manager for gaming on the brand team.
Hi, my name is Will. I'm a producer for Bento and I work on the Intel Gaming team.
Hi, my name's An. I'm a Vietnamese concept artist and graphic designer.
My name is Mariel. I'm a Filipino concept artist and illustrator.
Growing up, I was probably one of the few folks with Asian descent in a lot of my classes. I think I was probably one of the only Asian people, maybe up until high school. And that was kind of a strange time for me because I would get a lot of weird looks from people. They'd say things like, "Oh, you're not really from here, are you?" Which was strange to me because I was born and raised in California. So I definitely felt like I was an outsider just because I looked a little bit different than everybody else.
I mean, I think there's a lot of other situations where I was made aware of my Asianness as well, whether that's, kids making chinky eyes at me or, just making comments on the food that I packed for lunch.
My mom immigrated from Hong Kong. My dad is from Mexico, so I'm half Chinese, half Mexican. The way that I look, whoever I'm with, they just, lump me into that group. So if I'm with my Filipino friends, I'm Filipino. If I'm with some of my Latino friends, I'm Latino. If I'm around some of my Asian friends, I'm more, Chinese, right? So I got those jokes all around, and sometimes you roll with it and sometimes it's disturbing and it's upsetting.
My parents both immigrated here from the Philippines. My mom used to own a Filipino grocery store / restaurant, and it was very popular. So I grew up around with all of the different kinds of Filipino foods ever since I was a kid. There was one time when I was in school, we had like a picnic. I brought some ulam from my parents' restaurant, and no one said anything to me, but I could definitely feel people staring at me, like a very judgmental, like, what is this?
My best friend growing up was Korean American, and one day I remember she was asking me if I'd rather have pizza than the food at her house, almost ashamed of her food and automatically thinking I wouldn't like it. So of course I said no, and I ate as much of the food that day as I possibly could, and I thought it was delicious. And I think that was the first time that I truly realized that she and I were different.
I was born and raised in Korea and also lived in China and Hong Kong for a long time. As a result, I have a deep appreciation for Asian culture, my own heritage, the food, the traditions, etc. And it wasn't until college that I moved to America for film school in Boston. I remember in junior year, I internally thought of myself as Asian, and I caught myself thinking wait, that doesn't make any sense. I'm Korean, what does Asian mean? That's so general and non-specific. Subsequently, I entered the film industry, and I wasn't really used to being the only Asian person in any given room, not to mention just a general lack of diversity. And as a result, I was commonly asked stuff like, where are you from? Do you speak other languages? And it's I'm not from here. I do speak other languages, but it's still not super comfortable to be reminded of that differentness when, we're all working on set together for the same project. And why should that matter?
Although my family immigrated from Laos, the southern countryside region, I was actually born and raised here in California. That being said, being Southeast Asian descent generated a lot of conversations around the type of Asian I was, not to say in a negative way, but predominantly constant education and explanation on how Lao culture is different compared to our fellow Asians that most recognize as Chinese or Vietnamese.
I personally experienced racial discrimination growing up, even though my experience were fortunately not violent. For an example, like going to a gas station and being refused service, or trying to date an American girl and their parents not allowing her to date me because I was Chinese. These are some of the examples that really impacted my mental health growing up.
First of all, I want to acknowledge that, the violence that we're seeing on TV and on social media, it isn't new.
At first, it was just like the numbers were astounding, and then it happens in your hometown. The grocery store that I go to often, there was an incident 2 weeks ago in San Francisco, and it's just, given that my son is half Chinese, I immediately become extremely paranoid that, he's going to be jeopardized to this type of treatment, and it's really terrible.
I'm a big advocate on trying to diffuse the situation when you see racism in public. I think people need to speak out, like I said, actually intervene when necessary and really help defend those targeted people.
That could have been me, right? That could have been my parents, my grandparents. It could be my, aunts and uncles that were just going there because we used to go there all the time.
We feel strongly about diversity, and this is well represented in our team members. We hope that by speaking out about this cause inspires action at a larger scale.
We at the Intel Gaming team have commissioned some of our favorite Asian artists to fundraise and campaign against Asian hate.
So halo halo is this very popular Filipino dessert. Most people would buy it from Jollibee's or usually any other Filipino market. It's translated, halo means mix in Tagalog, so it translates to literally mix, and it's filled with a bunch of tasty food. There's shaved ice, there's ice cream. We put in like beans and sometimes corn, fruits, and condensed milk. And you basically get like this huge bowl or even like a cup full of all this stuff, and then you take the spoon and you mix it all together and you eat it. It's really, really good. It's very tasty. So because halo halo is my favorite Filipino dessert and one of the things I love sharing with everyone, it's why I want to share this piece of art with you and why I wanted to draw this to share with everyone.
I made a couple pieces for this campaign, for the Stop Asian Hate campaign. I made a couple enamel pins and then a couple stickers. And some of these have the ao dai, which is the Vietnamese traditional dress that we would have for special occasions, and as well as just as a uniform for high school. I was in 6th grade when I left Vietnam, and then I went to the US. I wasn't able to wear my own ao dai. I wasn't able to choose my own ao dai for New Year's or for school. So that's something that I wish I could have had.
The project I work with on Intel Gaming was a creative approach to highlight the AAPI community. This was done through a creative type of artwork, which for me was graffiti art and illustration on my side. That eventually translated into t-shirts and an oversized mouse pad. For me, I really didn't want to focus on the word hate. I didn't want to have this in a negative connotation, so I wanted to get to the opposite side of the spectrum of educating and uplifting each other, which then led me to the words rise together as the centerpiece of my artwork. The background of the artwork was comprised of various famous musicians, professors, activists, and scientists to farmers from Asian descent that directly contributed to our rich history. Collectively, these individuals from different backgrounds were very important to remember and include as they help shape and complete my theme of Rise Together for the artwork.
As Asian Americans, we really are up against the model minority stereotype where we're either doctors or engineers or lawyers. And I think as an Asian American person who is in creative marketing, I just really love that we are giving people that look like us a platform to really showcase their passions and their art. And I just, really appreciate that Intel is using our privilege as an organization to spotlight this.
We need to match what our community is doing, and I see a lot of people in the community raising awareness, being more outspoken. My hope is that this campaign brings awareness to who our team is, but also how we want to show up in the community as a team. We want to make this a recurring campaign where we can continue to help other communities and other charities that people in the gaming industry care about.
There's a lot of tears behind like how much work we put into making sure that people can understand how important this movement is. And I hope that from my pieces, I can communicate that there is hope, that we can raise awareness of how important Stop Asian Hate is.
In the process of cutting together all these interviews, I'm so very happy to find out that there are so many different people in the Intel team that are genuinely passionate about this issue, that have so many eloquent words to say about it, and it has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you all for your wonderful support of this campaign.
Thank you so much for the support, and I really hope you like the merch.
I just wanted to say thank you for supporting us and our message.
100% of the proceeds today go towards organizations that are helping to stop AAPI hate.
We hope that you like the art that we've curated, and thank you so much for your support.